Body feels pretty good. I think the biggest thing is just going to be getting up to like game speed and NHL speed again. So I think we'll probably have a conversation here with the trainers, but I don't expect to play tomorrow, but we'll see what they all think, and then I'm hoping Thursday, so we'll have a conversation with them, but nothing really definitive right now.
How big of a challenge is that, just beyond coming off surgery, jumping in when everybody's been going for 2 months?
Yeah, well, the exciting thing is my body feels good, so that's just a big step in that direction, and it might take some games to kind of get up to speed and just playing at this level. So if it takes a couple of weeks, that's what it is, but we'll get there eventually.
Will you travel to Buffalo just to be part of the morning skate and stuff?
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever experienced anything like this as far as a long layoff and then jumping into the lineup?
Yeah, in 2014 and 2015, both playoffs, I missed the last 20 games of the year for injuries, and then I jumped right in playoffs. So
How did that go? Any reference point?
I think that was a little bit different, right? Because you're actually playing all year, and then you take 20 games off. I mean, this is, it's been 6 months, so it's a little bit longer.
You've had is it conditioning at this point, or
No.
training, or?
No, not conditioning. Not, like I said, my body feels good. Just more, almost learning the game again, and hopefully it's one of those things after you do it for 1 game, 2 game, 3 games. It just it comes back to you pretty naturally. So, I'm confident I'll get there. It's just gotta be patient with it a little bit, I guess.
I know you went over the systems and stuff with, I think it sounds like Derek before, in the process, but how long does it take to really feel comfortable in something like that?
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some corrections, the first few games, but systems seem pretty easy here, so hopefully it's not that difficult.
You've had about a week to acclimate off the ice. What's the impressions been like of this group?
I think it's a close group. I think, it seems to me like they have a lot of fun with each other, a lot of fun at the rink. I think that's a big sign of, teams that have a lot of success. Even looking back to the teams, we had success with in Chicago. Our teams were so close off the ice, hung out with each other all the time, and I get that sense from this group as well.
Patrick, were you prepared to be in the booth for Alex DeBrincat's 100th goal?
No, but I was hoping he would get it a couple games prior, when you're watching. But that's a pretty cool moment to be up there with Mickey and Ken and seeing him score. Pretty exciting. So happy for him. That's a pretty quick 200. So he's well on his way to some big numbers.
Early thoughts on playing with him and Larkin? I know it's just practice, but.
Well, I was with Valeno and Kat today. So, it was, like you said, it's practice. It's kind of tough to really tell chemistry with, 2 or 3 reps in the drill, right? But, if those are the guys I'm playing with, obviously Joe has a lot of speed up the middle, and the Brincat I played with in the past as well and had some chemistry. So, but there's, a lot of guys on this team you can play with and develop chemistry with. So, looking forward to playing with everyone.
You're getting settled into the arena, finding your way around?
Yeah. It's such a great setup here, and they really do a good job taking care of their players. So it's a great setup with the practice rink and game rink all in one. And getting into the arena was a little tricky. I found myself among the fans the other night against Chicago, so it wasn't really the best game to be walking around outside with people with Chicago jerseys coming in and recognizing you. But somehow found my way down here and just try to learn a little bit more each day.
You were in the concourse or
I got dropped off right in front of the rink.
Okay.
So you get out of that car and one person notices you, it's tough after that.
So how many Hawks fans kind of like, oh man, there's Patrick Kane right there?
Yeah.
Was there quite a few?
Yeah, it was like I said, one person recognizes you and you try to keep your head down and keep walking, but stopped and took a few pictures. Maybe it's 15, 20 people.
Is Stacey come for?
Maintenance day for JT. He'll be available for us tomorrow.
So Patrick doesn't sound like,
I think tomorrow would be a little ambitious. Ideally, we'll get a morning skate tomorrow, get a similar practice on Wednesday, kind of go from there.
is the pairing with Veleno and Alex likely or more reflective of who
No,
you?
that was just the
who you didn't
JT
have,
out today, changed the lines around a little bit. So we'll probably see lines tomorrow similar to what we had in Montreal on Saturday.
Do you like what you saw out of Kane today, or does it
Yeah,
still
very
seems like
good.
a guy?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's what he needs. That's his first practice in a long time. So I think he needed those reps. Those are real reps, 5-on-5 type reps. So probably give him a similar look on Wednesday, go from there.
What are the challenges of integrating a new guy into the system? And is it much easier when you've got a veteran?
Yeah, way much easier as a veteran, and even where his experience is and his IQ, even walking him through structure right now, it's not foreign to him, and it seems to click. And the fact that he gets to see it more and be part of our process, I think helps out. So I think it would be a pretty good transition structurally.
Several of the guys have talked about just that competitive drive that's been happening since the Sweden trip. Have you seen that too, and what can you kind of attest to how that's started?
Yeah, losing. The two type of games in which we played pretty well, I think it just left a very bad taste in their mouths, and I think it was more of the message of more complete hockey. I think we're very realistic on where we are. We can't sleepwalk through games and expect to win. I think we got to be on all the time, and I think that's what they've done. Obviously, we're 5-1 since the Europe trip.
Is there a chemistry issue too? But you get maybe earlier, again, like kind of answers that early in the season, it might be not as big of a problem as maybe at the trade deadline or something, incorporating a new player like that.
I think this gives it a little bit. It's just this is a very unique situation in that he's able to spend 7 to 10 days with us, being in our process before thinking about playing him. So obviously, there's going to be some transition early on, trade deadline type, but I think this will transition fairly well.
Is the plan to go with Lyon tomorrow in goal?
Yeah, Lyon will go and goal tomorrow.
Are you at a point where it's kind of been just kind of alternating?
No, we're not there. We're not there by any means. So we'll get through tomorrow with Alex and see how that goes and make a decision for Thursday.
Do you ever look at how odd sometimes sports is, where it almost takes a trip to Sweden to be almost a wake-up call for this team, that you had to, I'm not exactly sure what I'm trying to ask you, but it just seems that something happened in Sweden that really made an impact on this club.
I mean, we're in a 5-on-1 stretch right now. It's our second 5-on-1 stretch of the year. We started 5-on-1. I think the Sweden thing's probably looking a little too much into it. I think it was more, we played 2 good hockey games, but didn't do enough to win. So those could have happened anywhere. That happened against New York the other night, where we played a really good game, probably deserved a point, maybe 2 full points, and you come back and you a little more urgency to your game, and then we take the next 4 points. So I mean, again, we are what we are. We need to be good for an entire 60 minutes to be successful. We don't have those elite type of difference makers where you can't play, where you can play poorly and still win. So I just think it's more urgency for a complete game.
You've mentioned a couple times that just the reality of some lottery luck has kind of had an impact on this roster. Looking ahead to Buffalo, obviously they've got a couple of #1 overall picks and Darlene and Power. Could you speak to what they bring to that?
Great. They're special, high-end. I'm the wrong guy to ask because they absolutely slaughtered us all year last year, to the point where I should maybe invoice some of those guys with those huge contracts this summer, because they had their way with us in a lot of ways last year. I think they're special players. I think they're elite talents in the league. They're good for the league, and it creates, obviously, a huge challenge for us being in the same division. Obviously a challenge we did not handle very well last year.
interesting that you kind of speak to those games, because I think at one point Steve even said teams like Buffalo were ahead of Detroit in the rebuild. But what's different about this year's team, your team?
Yeah, I think what Steve's comment was, Ottawa and Buffalo has simply been drafting higher and longer for us. They're ahead of us in some ways. I just think we have some added depth. Again, it's only a 23 game. I think both those teams are going to have a push before the season's even out. So I don't know if it's a whole lot different. I just think it's a segment. I can speak for ourselves in that we're playing a very good team game. We're getting contributions from everyone, finding ways to win.